Jesse, you're a passionate wellness entrepreneur who really bridges that gap between healthcare and fitness with over 20 years of experience, which is huge. You're really an expert in this area. You've also been awarded the winner of Canada's Top Fitness by Impact Magazine, which is huge, absolutely huge. So I kind of want to dive right out of the get-go into your journey and what that was like for you. How did you get to this incredible place of success today? What was your journey like for you? What were the biggest challenges and lessons you have learned? I would love you just to totally dive in and tell us all about that. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come on here and share
Thank you
all of this.
so much for having me. Well, here we go. 3 years to go. We can jump right into this amazing journey where 2021, right in the middle of COVID, I lost everything. I lost my marriage. I lost my properties. I lost my gym due to a defaulting landlord who lost half of his assets. I almost lost my father. Um, and I was completely overwhelmed, of course, with the weight of everything, and let's not forget COVID. There was that as well going on, and it can be quite difficult, especially when there are layers to these things. It's hard enough to process and grieve one thing, but when there's multiple layers, it can be quite overwhelming. And so I found myself on my knees, right? Seeking guidance and help, and ultimately just surrendering my life. What else could I do? Like, who am I fooling myself if I think that I'm in control of the situation? So I surrendered and said the exact same prayer every night for 6 months. And I always say, if you bug him enough, he'll listen. And and sure enough, I was blessed with an opportunity to take over a new facility in downtown Vancouver, who was seeking new management. And we, it was an amazing opportunity given that the facility was 3 times the size and a very good rental rate. And I was able to successfully move our entire community, our clients, our trainers, my entire team. And in that moment, I asked myself, why is this happening? Right? I'm standing in a brand new facility with all this equipment. I've got a second chance. I thought I was done. I should have been done. Like, and I was happy to do so. I was tired, burnt out, mentally depleted, emotionally depleted, and I was given the second chance. I was asked to keep going. And I just simply asked why. And it was placed on my heart in that instant to create a place of healing. And given that we were just coming out of COVID, it made so much sense. What do people need more than anything else? They don't need another fitness trend. We need healing. We've just undergone a 3 year pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I fully understand the power of exercise and diet. Those are two tools that I've mastered that I know very well. And I know the transformative power that they have in people's lives. But healing was something so much more. It was so much bigger than even transformation. So I said, okay, I said, all right. And I just started with the bones of the facility and quickly found that there was an opportunity for a treatment room. So I brought in RMT. And RMT is an amazing modality that introduces human touch and connection, which post-pandemic um, was going to be a very healing process for many people. I also introduced physiotherapy, which deals with pain in the body or trauma that may be trapped in the body. And by bringing in these different professionals and these different modalities, we were able to have our very first healing, if you will. And her name was Shruti. She came to our facility. She was from LA. Her knee, she had an injured knee. She put on some weight, and she was having a difficult time navigating the healthcare system here in Canada with her insurance and whatnot. And I asked her fitness goal. She said, I just want to dance again. So how could you not want to help a woman like Shruti? So immediately the team jumped into action. She saw her physiotherapist. I think maybe that day or the following day, she was booked in for massage. We did her startup appointment. Her assessment was done. We had her on her food and activity journal. One of our staff coordinates with physicians and doctors, and so we were able to get her to see a physician right away, imaging. Within 2 weeks, Shruti went from 5 feet under and drowned to, standing on solid ground, seeing results, smiling again. She was ahead of all of her markers, her recovery markers. And in that moment, all of us lit up knowing that, okay, this is it. And we saw the potential in it. It reinvigorated all of us as health and fitness professionals that we, working as a team, we could effectively um, heal people quickly, efficiently, and that's where we are today at Fit Integrated Wellness.
Jesse, this is absolutely an incredible story. And I know there's probably way more to it than that too, but thank you for sharing those important pieces. I kind of want to take it back a little bit. I did have a question I'm kind of curious about. And if you're not open to sharing, that's fine too. But the prayer, you prayed every night for 6 months.
Yes.
What did you ask for in the prayer? Or what did you, I mean, it worked, obviously. You had faith during those hard times. Do you mind me asking what your prayer kind of said, or?
Absolutely. And can I add some context to it as well a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. So um, moving to Vancouver, I was actively engaged in faith, and I was going to actually do missionary work, but instead I was brought to Vancouver, and I always say I'll be wherever I'm most needed, wherever I can best serve. And unfortunately, I lost my way in my 20s when I became a personal trainer, and I saw success quickly, and I opened my first studio, and I started to make all this money, and I got into real estate, and I got a little bit cocky, I'm not gonna lie. Um, I kind of felt like it was easy, and why do I need God, right? If I can do all this stuff myself, then why do I need him? I had a beautiful wife, I had a beautiful life, I had all the things that a person could want, and despite all of that, I was not happy. I was not fulfilled. I felt empty. My home did not have love in it. The moment I stepped into that house, I felt like um, really drained. My mother refers to it as our love tank, and it was quite empty at that time. So, of course, when we don't build our foundation on rock and we choose to build it on sand, when those waves hit, which they inevitably will hit, that foundation begins to crumble. And in my case, it was my brother who passed 4 years ago. And when I began grieving that loss, I couldn't just shake. It's not something that you can shake off. And so after a year, my partner kind of got a little bit, understandably, a little impatient with me. But the reality was I was just not able to no longer support everything that I had built. I couldn't support myself, let alone the business and everything else that I had built. So that started to crumble. And COVID was just the thing that brought me again just to my knees and back to God, where I said, okay, Lord, help me. I'm at a dead end. I'm I'm willing to completely surrender my life I'm willing to um, let go of the steering wheel and let you completely take over my life. Like I will I will work at Home Depot gladly. I will take on any job, any role, anything. Um, uh, I no longer cared about, I was willing to completely relinquish all material possessions, knowing that it did not fulfill me, it did not bring me any kind of happiness. And above all, I also prayed for love, believe it or not, was one of my biggest things that I had prayed for 6 months was to find love and to make that my greatest aim, knowing that the person in which we choose to build our lives with is by far the most important decision we make in our lives. It's not what investment we choose to make. It's not what business we have. It's not what education. It is who we choose to build our lives with. And at 36 years old, I was terrified. I was completely terrified. Not having been in the dating scene for 10 plus years to have to start that and perhaps start a family. It was very scary to say the least. Um, but once again, I had to just trust that this was going to all work itself out somehow, some way.
Jesse, thank you so much for sharing that and being vulnerable. And I'm so sorry about the death of your brother. I can't even imagine. Um, with that being said, the prayer that you had and being open and willing to, go to work at Home Hardware, I think you said, or, also being afraid of maybe never finding love again or any of that, and losing everything. The fact that you were open to surrender everything at that point, like sometimes that is what it takes. It's like, honestly, it's like sometimes God just waits for you to be like, I don't know how to do this. It's not really up to me. I surrender it. You know, um, Especially when you don't see things changing. It's so hard to imagine life any different when you're going through such hard times, right? Like we can often be really down on ourselves and even though we can't see things changing or turning around, even when we're like praying or, hoping for better or doing everything we can to change things, like sometimes like you're not going to see anything change for a while, but just leaning in that faith and trusting the process and trusting God and or whoever that is for you guys listening. It might be something else, but just knowing that things can turn around and believing that they will, and surrendering.
Absolutely. And here's where the story takes a beautiful turn. And it was 6 months after um, getting the new facility, or sorry, 6 months after um, my separation and my divorce, I rekindled a long lost love from 20 years ago when I had first moved to Vancouver. My crush girl who we were dating for just a little bit. We were 21 years old. So I was bringing her coffee, I was bringing her muffins. She was always asking me about my family, and we had remained friends for many, many years. Of course, she had gotten married and I had gotten married, and we had gone our separate paths. But um, of all places, she popped up on Facebook, and I just asked her, you know, made a comment about her tattoo. I said, new tattoo. She said, old tattoo. Where have you been? So she invited me to a barbecue, and we both knew instantly the moment she touched me, and I felt that love from her. Um, I knew that we were going to be together, and she helped rebuild me. She's taken me on. I was broken, and just the love that she was giving me. The meal. She's Filipino. She cooks. I think I gained like 20 pounds, but the food um, really helped. And I was wanting to play small, given that I had just weathered such a storm in my business professional life. I had been doing it for many, many years, and I was wanting to just, and we were still in a pandemic when we got together, but I was wanting to play it safe and play it small. But she said, "No, I want you at your best." And she helped it, not only rebuild me, but rebuild the business. And within 2 years, we now have two facilities. So I've gone from one gym to two gyms. Um, we're now engaged, and we're like an old married couple. Um, and I found my partner. I found my life partner, and I feel like it. I got a second chance not only in life or in my career, but also in love. And I think that's a beautiful thing for a lot of people is that they don't realize that sometimes we do get a second chance if we make it our number one priority. And the only thing that I would add to that is that if yeah, that's, that's
Jesse, with that's beautiful. I absolutely love that. I have a question in regards to when it comes to being, successful, passionate entrepreneur, we reaching these impressive things that you've accomplished. You had your love, your final love now there by your side during these achievements, but you also had her during the darkest times as well. And what is the difference? What does it look like when you have that supportive partner? I think it's everything to have someone support you throughout your journey to success. But what does that difference look like? I know your marriage fell apart prior to that.
Mhm.
Do you mind me asking like what that difference looks like between that love, from someone who is right for you and for where you're looking to go in life and someone who maybe isn't, maybe just not the right fit?
Yeah, great question. Simply put, I would just say that in my first marriage, we were competing, and we were competing kind of against each other, not in a healthy way. Whereas this partnership is very much that. It's a partnership where we support each other, and and we we genuinely love e each other. Like she loves me for me. And I know that sounds incredibly simplistic, but um you have to genuinely love that person, like all of them, right? Like the good and the not so good and the great and the not ideal. And like you have to really, at the end of the day, just love them for who they are. And it took a lot for us, and we're much more grateful, we're much more mature in the love that we have now, given that we've both lived some pretty difficult stuff in the past. And um, when I told her that I had prayed 6 months in order to find this love and find her, she started crying and said that she had been praying for a year and a half. And that was quite emotional for both of us. And it just serves as a reminder that perhaps we're not just the only ones that are trying to find love. There's also another person out there who might be praying and seeking us as well. And I just think that's a beautiful thing.
100%. I'm curious, before in your last relationship that didn't work out, you weren't very spiritual or faith-based, were you? Or and was your partner at the time, was she? I'm just curious.
Yeah, great question. No, like I said, I lost my way, and I was not actively reading. I was not actively exercising my faith or spiritual beliefs. And as such, I think that that's where maybe a lot of that emptiness really maybe did stem from. Uh, and on her side, her family unfortunately did not believe in share the same spiritual faith that I did. And as a result, Her faith was more based on like nature and connecting with nature and that kind of thing. It just didn't have very much structure to it.
Right.
But that's how she was able to connect spiritually to things was through nature. So we had very different spiritual beliefs, given that I was raised um, with my spiritual beliefs from a very, very young age. And it was something though that I wanted to share with her, and it unfortunately was not something that we were able to uh, to to do together, unfortunately.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I think I have experienced something similar to that in my previous long-term relationship. And it can be difficult because then I feel like, sometimes you feel like you can't go as deep as you'd like to with it or be as open about it, right? And I think it's so important to have someone there that's kind of on the same page and path as you, right? And obviously, when you do have that right person beside you, look at how life can turn around. So, with that being said, Jesse, I kind of want to talk about exactly what you do today with everything that you've accomplished and rebuilt after losing everything.
Mm.
Let's talk about now. And I want to talk about what you offer, for the people listening, and why, on top of that, why it's so important to have fitness and healthcare in your life as an entrepreneur, especially for clarity, success, all of that.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. So really exciting stuff. We've just opened our second facility in Alberta, and it's been so rewarding. There's so much talent there. People are loving our offering. The market is not nearly as saturated as downtown Vancouver, so we're seeing a lot of success quite quickly, and it's been really rewarding just serving that local community. We even found a church there in Edmonton, ironically, and so we've been supporting that community as well. Um, Edmonton was rocked post COVID, and so just bringing that spark and that fire back into fitness entrepreneurs there. We rent space to trainers has been really rewarding. Everyone there is just so grateful that we're there helping provide them with a new fitness offering that is both accessible, it's affordable, and because we specialize in 30-minute training sessions, it's very convenient for a lot of people. So really excited about our new facility and team in St. Albert. And in Vancouver, it's really exciting to see our integration thriving, where we have physios. We've recently brought on a chiro, we've brought on RMTs, and we're seeing them working and collaborating with the personal trainers and really delivering a comprehensive approach to health and fitness for our clients has been really awesome. And I've got some really interesting insights as a result of that. But really, I think it's integral for people to assemble a wellness team that are all in communication, that are all closely knit and working together. Every single person that is within your wellness team is holding a piece of the puzzle. And it's only by them communicating effectively that we can assemble that puzzle together. And that's something that you could say that I've stumbled across on my journey, but it's been absolutely amazing, and it's helping to elevate each respective um, modality. So as personal trainers, we quickly are able to identify, okay, what's our lane? What's our role as a personal trainer? And when is it appropriate to refer? And when is it appropriate? What can and what can't we do? So I'm coming at this thing from, as a personal trainer with 20 years experience, I'm coming at this holistic wellness approach from that angle. Whereas most integrated facilities or clinics, it's often driven by somebody who's an RMT or a physio. Um, and likewise with nutrition, with physiotherapy, we're able to see, our physiotherapist. I love it when she refers people to nutrition, because if somebody is just full of inflammation, it doesn't matter, how many needles you stick in there and how many manual manipulations you do, that person's just simply not going to heal and get better. So it's been really cool to see all of us just elevate not only our skill but also our purpose in working together.
This is absolutely incredible. I love it. And, as a successful entrepreneur yourself with, 20 years of experience, you know what challenges you've been through, what you've overcome to get to where you are today. Now, what would you say are any common traits you see within yourself that you see in other hyper successful entrepreneurs?
We don't give up. That's for sure. We are relentless in our day to day. Sometimes to our own detriment, I guess you could say. Like, sometimes our own health and things like that can suffer. So we work very, very hard. 12-hour days. We're no stranger to that. Working 7 days a week. Our facilities open 364 days of the year, and so very rarely do we get the holidays and things like that. So we're fully committed, I think, to our craft, um, to our calling, and we really we do put that first. So it's important for us to um, surround ourselves with the right people, of course. And that's another thing. I'm huge on environment. I'm a huge believer in the people that we surround ourselves with. And so I'm surrounding myself with other high performers. Um, I have many mentors. I have over 4 mentors. I have a coach. And I've also been making a conscious effort to surround myself with friends who are also committed that have also committed their lives to health and fitness, and not only for themselves but also for supporting other people as well. I think it's incredibly important that you're supported on all sides, because it really does take a village in order for you to effectively help people and make a big impact. So yeah, and we surround ourselves with top people. We work extremely hard, and we don't quit. We don't give up.
I absolutely love this. Well, Jesse, thank you for coming on today as an absolute rock star. Everything that I look to cover in an interview, you covered. So from vulnerability to challenges to overcoming that to the wins, but being real and being vulnerable. That is truth. That is real life. That's authentic, and people will be able to relate on one level or another. So I thank you for that. And what is the best way for everyone to connect with you?
Well, yeah. So thank you, Brittany, for having me and allowing me to just be me. And the best way for people to connect with me is through our website, fitintegrated.ca. We've also got our LinkedIn. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Jesse Benson, or you could also reach me on social media, where we're with, again, Fit Integrated on social media. And lastly, email. Feel free to reach me directly, jesse@fitintegrated.ca.
Thank you so much, Jesse. And group, everything's in the show notes. So click the, show more and you'll see it. Click the links to connect with Jesse. Thanks again, Jesse. And group.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely.